What is up, dudes? I am XIKIZOID, and today we're continuing the Andromeda Six playthrough. In last episode, we were just about to land on Orion, and we're about to destroy those evil labs that took advantage of all of those innocent people and started genetically modifying them and just playing around with their biology in really cruel ways. So we're definitely gonna do something very good, I think, and that is just like the best thing that we can do in this situation. If you did miss the last episode, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description to the full Andromeda 6 playthrough so you can watch that and catch up on everything that has been happening in the game. I really recommend that you check that out. But enough chit chat, and let's actually continue playing the game. So Calderon says, literally, but enough chit chat. We're about to breach the security perimeter. Stay safe, stowaway. Okay, with a final nod, the captain walks away, and I rush to take my assigned seat. Damon sits with a remarkable calm in his usual seat, even yawning while he catches Aya and Vexx talking in front of us. I can't ignore the jitters I feel the closer we get to Orion, but with a deep breath I force myself to focus. If I look nervous, we're sure to fail the inspection, and I won't accept that. Okay, this is a notice to inform you that you're about to breach Orion airspace. Identify yourself and your objective. A metallic voice rings through the comms, and I can hear Ayame take a deep breath before pressing the button and responding. This is the ATT Cruiser 906 requesting permission to land. We were hired to transport one of your own. This is Agent Seraph, ID number 7004/Z. I lost contact with my vessel in Terranium, and I had to secure external transportation. Please hold while we check. Do you like my customer service voice? Okay. Vexx says, move it the F along, mess. I ain't got all effing day to wait around for you to do your job. Vexx growls into the comms. That was Damon chuckling, but Aya merely rolls her eyes, fighting the smile that tugs at her lips. Me, on the other hand, I am terrified by that. We're trying to get in and he acts like that? Good God. Yes, sir. Apologies, sir. It'll be just a moment. So Vexx is a little bit of a superior to this person. And he says, now that is more like it. So he's very, very cocky. Damon openly laughs at that while I stare wide-eyed at the scene trying to grasp what just happened. And I gotta say, Damon and Vexx have very similar personalities. They're both very edgy. But yeah, they really are similar. And I remember we did choose... we had the choice to pick between whether we want to be just friends with Vexx or whether we were lovers with him. But we picked the one where we were lovers and not just friends. But that was all in the past and before Vexx betrayed us. However, it really is the story is showing that Vexx was actually had his brain altered just to act differently than he would act normally, and in that case he betrayed us not because he wanted to, but because he was forced to by this genetic experiment. So, is that little mess, that scrawny bald bastard who couldn't even open a bottle of beer? The one and only. He's gotten a bit taller though, and he's not half bad at his job, but it's fun to scare him sometimes. Damon says, the good old days. Shame we're here to make his life a living hell, but oh well. At least he's not stationed on the facility. What hesitant to kill an old friend? Are we talking about me or you, Vexy? Oh, Vexy! Or do you need me to remind you how you... Agent Seraph, sir, your ship has been granted permission to land. We just need to know the ETA to leave the premises. Ayame says, we need to perform a basic checkup once we land. There was an odd noise in our tertiary cooling piston, and I would like to get it cleared up before leaving. Arrangements at a specialized facility have already been made, and I expect it would last no longer than 0800 hours. Just let my new friends patch this junk before leaving, mess. Not a problem. Please refrain from overstaying set time. I can give you a little leeway because you're with Agent Seraph, but I can't make any promises on behalf of the other teams. Good enough for me, Baldy. I'll be sure to buy you a beer next time we meet, I promise. Oh, how they're taunting him. I appreciate the assistance. We'll be landing now. ETA to reach atmosphere is 15 minutes. Roger. ATT Cruiser 906 is clear now. And it's good to have you back, sir. Mez is an old friend of Vex's and Damon's. And just like that, we're cleared. Aya tells us all to buckle up and lead us straight towards Orion. It's hard to believe we actually made it. Even less so when I see all the destroyers, frigates, and battleships spread out around Orion's atmosphere. Oh my god, I'm really bad at actually reading. So, yeah, the sight makes me shiver and I close my eyes tight to calm myself while we land. This was only the first step, the worst is yet to come. And as soon as we landed, I hurried off to my room to drop off my jacket. It was remarkably warmer than we expected, and it would be a hindrance to walk around with useless extra weight. I don't feel overly confident on my skills to get us through that mission, but I trust the crew, we will make it work somehow. As I make my way to the door to hurry outside, I stop for a moment and look out my window. The forest we've landed on is stunning. It's like something straight out of a book, and it's hard to force myself to walk away from it. I hope we see the forest. I really hope so. So with a sigh, I straighten my back and walk away, hurrying as I make my way through the ship to join the crew. The forest around us might be pretty, but our goal is the very opposite of that. It's a prospect that fills me with dread, but I can't afford to dwell now. When I reach the corridors leading to the docks, I spot Bash waving at me from the door leading downstairs before he turns and disappears through it. I quickly make my way after him, stopping at the top of the stairs to double-check all the weapons strapped to me. I pull my blaster out of the holster and note the gun is set to stun. Okay. I'm gonna leave it on stun just because I don't want us to have any lethal options later down the road. And I remember there was like an option to choose a different fight style, and we chose firearms for this very specific reason because I have the option to stun people and not kill them. Satisfied with it like that, on stun, I shove it back into its holster. Just because I might get into a fight doesn't mean I fancy risking taking a life with my own hands. That is something we definitely do not want to do in this playthrough. Some lines shouldn't be crossed, we say. Once I'm sure everything is fine, I rush downstairs, barely noticing the docks as I make my way outside and set foot for the first time on Orion. And this is exciting, dude. Ooh, yes, we do get to see the forest. It's so lush and so green and so fresh and beautiful. Look at the waterfall on the right-hand side of the screen. And there's some debris there and some old like orbs that are like made out of metal. And oh my god, the waterfall in the center, so beautifully made. Honestly, the artwork, and look, there's even like a little detail here on the lower in the lower left corner. It is of a beautiful white flower, and I really appreciate the artwork. Really beautiful. A warm, gentle breeze strokes me when I step outside, and I'm stunned when I look around. We're in a dense but soothing forest, right next to the stream with a waterfall visible in the near distance. Its sound coupled with the chirping birds bring about a peaceful feeling, even though I'm as tense as I've ever been. Warm sunlight peeks through the trees, casting a soft yellow glow around us. There are weird, round and curious ruins strewn about, all broken and deteriorating. Yeah, those are the metal balls that I was talking about. Yet they're still intrinsically beautiful. I have so many questions and a maddening urge to go off exploring every inch of this place. Yeah, I would do the same. It's a shame we can't afford the luxury now. Alright, listen up. The facility is just behind a group of trees, but there are no guards or security systems in place here. There is, however, a patrol team that sweeps by every hour, so we have to hurry because we're on the clock. Vexx doesn't speak too loudly, but his voice seems to echo around the clearing we're at, and we all nod at him. It's too late to question our trust in him. We either follow his lead or we are doomed. He's got his rifle safely strapped on his back now. It's weird to see him armed again after all these days he spent with us, yet it seems to be part of him. Well, he was a guard, so yeah. I was surprised Cal was fine with Vexx coming with us while armed, but I think we can't afford to dismiss the help just to be on the safe side. Still, I don't think Vexx has any intentions to betray us now. I really don't think so. He is being partially healed by Ryona, as far as I could gather from like the previous 2 episodes. So I think we can like trust him a little bit, like not too much, but in this case we don't really have any other choice. So let's continue reading this. In complete silence and moving as a solid unit, we run towards the edge of the forest. My heart hammers in my chest and my palms feel sweaty. Oh, mama spaghetti. But I push my nerves away. This isn't time for doubt and hesitation. This is the time for action. Soon enough we reached our destination. We stopped just on the edge of the tree line, and my chin drops when I see the massive building that looms in front of us. It's large, at least 5 stories tall, and who knows how many underground floors. The walls are stark white, and it has a wide mirror glass window spread all over its geometrical architecture. I want to see that. Oh, please show that. It's beautiful, so beautiful it's terrifying, and I immediately hate it. Please, I want to see the facility. So, we're going in. The alarm will go off in 15 minutes after we get in, so stay sharp, because the patrol team will make the rounds in exactly 17 minutes. Which means there isn't 1 second to waste. Don't let your guards down. Good luck, everyone. Alright. We all nod, and me and the rest of the crew sit tight, watching while the 3 of them rush towards a side entrance that I'm assuming leads to the mines. The minutes fly by, but none of us utters a single word. The tension around us thick enough. Oh, a thick tension. Enough I could taste it. The time to go is fast approaching, and we don't have a second to waste. By the way, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of thick swallows in this episode so far, but I'm hoping we get some thick swallows later on. So, the time to go is fast approaching. We don't have a second to waste. Sooner than I expected, June signals us, and we all rush after him into the building. A crippling fear of getting caught prickles the back of my neck, but I ignore it and press on. Yeah, that's right, stoicism. So, we go inside through a different door than the captain and the others went through, and what meets us is as far from the scenery of a mine as possible. The facility already looked massive on the outside, but the inside is even more imposing. It really is. Like, I love this little hologram here. Actually, it's a huge hologram, I should say. But the colors are like very threatening, you know, like a green, dark, dingy green is always like very threatening and creepy. So, it has tall walls, and it seems to be divided into several blocks, all connected through overhanging bridges surrounded by glass walls. This whole place is in a sickening off-white color. See, that's exactly what I meant. This off-white, sort of greenish color definitely imposes some kind of weird feeling to it, you know. It's not a very welcoming color, I would not say. Eerie shadows all around us. I just got in and I can't wait to leave. I say a silent prayer that everything goes well. A prayer to what god, though? I'm wondering what kind of religion these aliens have, because we are an alien, we're not earthlings. We managed to get out of here sooner rather than later, but I'm not sure how effective this will turn out to be. A huge hollow sphere takes over the center of the lobby, and we step closer to check it out. I would really love to know what kind of data this hologram is showing, this hollow sphere. This is the map of the facility. Yeah, obviously. Apparently it's still the exact same thing as it used to be. We don't need to waste any time with it. It's this way. I'm impressed by the sheer level of detail on this holosphere map, but even more impressed by the fact that June doesn't seem to need it in the least. He was here. Nobody questions him, and we all quickly follow his lead because he was one of the test subjects, one of the experiments, and actually his parents were the scientists who worked on him, and his brother, if you guys remember from the previous episode. That's really like a heartbreaking story. But the facility is completely empty. The evacuation alarm must have worked, thankfully, so we're able to move without any concerns. Soon enough, June has led us into 2 locations on the first and the second floor, where Bash and Daya set up the bombs near essential columns. From what they explained to me, as long as we take the key structures out, the whole building will follow suit, unable to support its own weight without those structures. We're making our way to the 3rd floor, or downtown, with not a single word uttered without need. I've caught Vexx checking out random rooms while we make our way over, and while it did look suspicious, he's made nothing to indicate he's about to run or turn on us. It's almost as if he's searching for something, and I don't think he'll rest until he finds it. We turn a sharp corner and enter a completely empty corridor. There are no ornaments, no signs to indicate what the rooms here are. There's nothing. We still have 3 bombs to plant. I think we're making good time, and I can only hope the team in the mines is having as smooth a job as we are. Still, something feels off with this corridor. My body tenses more and more the further in we go, and I can see June's knuckles whitening as he tightens his grip on his guns. It's in here. The old labs are through here. They should still be deactivated after all these years, so it should be as simple as planting a bomb in an empty room. With a determined if not angry look in his eye. Oh, he's definitely angry. June locks his jaw and pushes open the pair of doors. The moment he sees the inside of the room, though, his face goes blank and he leaves us behind, walking into the room as if he had been put under a spell. I wonder what's... Oh my god. Don't tell me that that is actual test subjects, or even his brother. I'm not sure. June did say that they killed his brother, as far as I can remember, but yeah, let's just read and we'll find out. We stepped through the set of doors June entered and find ourselves in what can only be described as the most horrifying place I have ever seen. A variety of cables come out of the ceilings and floors, with countless machines and research papers strewn around. Green lighting adds to the eerie feeling of the room, and it's scarily silent. It's almost as if life itself has been sucked out of this room, as if death swept this place up and walked away, leaving only ghosts chained by pain and misery in its wake. And this is where they do the testing on the subjects and stuff like that. This is a mad scientist's lair, a place that most likely given birth to so many nightmares that it makes my knees tremble from merely thinking of it. I hear the others gasping and taking sharp breaths at the side just as I do. It's an unsettling room, no matter who you are or where you are from. Slowly, with hesitant steps, I approach one of the large cylinders that's connected to countless cables. It's foggy and it's hard to make out what is inside, or if there even is anything in the green fluid. Ooh, the music changed. A low, weird growl comes from inside when I step closer, and I immediately retreat, my heart hammering in my chest at what I see inside, at what I see everywhere. There is a person in there. Or what used to be a person. I think its limbs are too long, its muscles too stretched, and its face is completely covered by a large metal mask with a tube connected to the top of the cylinder. And they are everywhere. Every cylinder has someone inside. The room further in it has countless of these creatures behind the glass windows. Faceless and shapeless creatures, deformed and deprived of all humanity. It's hard to breathe, it's hard to think in here. My ears ring lightly and my breathing gets labored. I'm on the verge of a panic attack, I can feel it. But just as I'm about to lose it, my companion's voice is dragging me back to reality. Oh, damn, there goes gravity. Another reference to Slim Shady, but I think that's an inappropriate time to make a joke like that. So, and I struggle to focus on whatever it is they're talking about. You okay? June, you should wait by the door with Vexx. Shut up, June says. Bash and Ayame widen their eyes at the tone in June's voice, my panic long gone when I see the contorted look on his face. Even Vexx by the door has a serious look on his face, his hand hovering near the panel to open and run if need be. This place shouldn't exist. This place should have died with him. With his brother, you know, remember? What are you talking about, June? June punches the monitor on the desk closest to him, smashing the screen as if it was made of a thin layer of fragile glass. And he doesn't look at me when he replies, his eyes fixed on the cylinders spread around the room. And I think this is like a really bad situation we're in, because we are on a very strict time limit, and we really need to like not get distracted by stuff like this. No matter how horrifying it might be, we're here to destroy the facility and to help like any future people who might become victims of this. So I think this might be a problem. The fact that we are still staying here, we're not planting the bomb already, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. I can't tell if his eyes are grey or green anymore, and I can see Ayame and Bash taking a careful step back. This whole place, this disgusting torture room, I destroyed it. I tore it to effing shreds all those years ago. I killed all of them with my bare hands. How did they rebuild it? How the F did they know how to replicate the procedure? How dare they? Well, I got the chills a little bit, honestly, just because, like, imagine all the pain he's gone through. June is trembling, his whole body is tense, and the rage in his voice is palpable. He's not even speaking to me, but it makes the hairs on the back of my neck raise regardless. He tears his hands out of the smashed monitor, his knuckles cut and bleeding a blood that's green? No, it's red, but it glows faintly in a green color, almost as if it's alive. Could it be that he's been experimented on so much his whole body is different than ours? I think so, yeah. Mumbling to himself, he shuffles to a stack of folders on the desk, flipping through them like a madman in search of something, stopping and tearing a page out of one of those folders, a murderous look on his face. Mother. What? I asked under a breath, unsure of what I had heard. He couldn't possibly mean his own mother, but I think he does. So that biatch survived. With a dark chuckle, he pushes the stack of folders onto the floor. His eyes are entirely glazed over with the green fog now, and I'm not sure June is still aware of our presence here with him. Nothing I can't fix. Jude, this is not funny. We gotta plant a bomb in this room and at least 3 other places on this floor, and we gotta do it now. Bash is right. June, please. These bastards think they can use people as their guinea pigs. They think it's all justifiable as long as it's for the greater good. Yes, they're right. Because this is oh my god, the veins in his arms have gotten green now. Can you see that in his eyes, his face? All of it is green, and I think he's completely out of it. But he says they're right, because this is exactly why I'm going to murder every single thing in this room. One monster walking around is enough. I don't need any company from the defective freaks in this freaking lab. June's fists are clenched on his sides. His body seems bigger somehow, his muscles more pronounced, his shoulders tense and hunched forward. But it's not that catches my eyes. It's the green. The grey in his eyes has been completely overtaken by a bright, sickening green. The veins in his body glow, trailing a blazing green map over his skin, and when he turns his head to the side, glaring and growling as he approaches the closest glass cylinder, I can see a sharp fang poking out amongst his teeth. I can't tell if he's always had a sharper canine or if it's yet another byproduct of the horrors he went through when he was younger. With a loud scream, June attacks the cylinder. His guns remain in the holsters though, and they seem like a child's toy when I see the vicious damage his fist caused the thick glass on the cylinder. Bash curses behind us, and Ayama lets out a low whimper. Vexx, still by the door, gestures for us to get out. It does seem like the logical thing to do. Sure, we didn't manage to plant a bomb there, but something tells me that this place won't have a single wall left standing once June is done with it. But still, is it right for us to leave him here? Probably not. Try to reach him or get out now. I think there is no point in trying to reach June at this point. He is completely out of it. He is completely enraged. And I don't think anything we can say can really diffuse or de-escalate the situation. So we're gonna get out, and I'm sure that if he is in the state capable of destroying this entire room, this entire laboratory, then he's surely strong enough to come out and join us later on. So we're gonna get out now. I don't blame June for being furious at this facility. Knowing that he too probably went through something similar to this is enough to make me sick to my stomach. But still, it doesn't sound like a good idea to try and get through to him now. He's too far gone in his rage, and we don't have the time to spare. Besides, I really don't want to die as a side effect here. Carefully, I take a step back, making my way towards the door with the others. In a swift motion, June pulls off the cable that was linked to the mask on that creature's face and tears the cylinder apart, letting that creature's broken body drop on the floor. It makes my stomach lurch. A sticky liquid drips from it, and from there I can see it still twitching, almost as if it was gasping for air in a desperate attempt to survive. Until June growls and steps on its head, squashing it as if it had the density of an orange. Ugh, dude. That is really disturbing. A gasp escapes at me at the sight, and I cover my mouth with my hands in an attempt to muffle the sound, but it's too late. Whoa, very beautiful artwork, but June looks over his shoulder at us, holding his head with his clean hand. The green veins have spread over to his face, making the bright green in his eyes all the more pronounced. But more than that, there's a murderous look on his face. Pure and unabashed rage stretching his features, and I can't fight the chill that sight brings me. Get out of here. Go and place the other bombs. I'll meet you soon. But I'm fine, Aya. This is what I really am. I'm only sorry you all had to be there to see this. My heart aches at the shame etched in his voice, but there's nothing I can do to help. There's nothing any of us can do. I get it now. This is something he has to deal with himself, else he won't ever get the closure he needs. There are so many things I want to ask him, so much I want to know, but we can do this later. Don't worry about this room. I've got a bomb with me, and there won't be anything left standing in here before I plant it. Bash gives him a sharp nod and pulls me out of the room in a rush with Ayame hot on our heels. Ooh, this is like a really disturbing little sequence that we just went through. I hope that June is gonna be like okay, and hopefully he can join us later on, so we can be sure that he is safe and sound. Seeing June like that was certainly not what I expected, and I'm sure Ayame and Bash were just as shocked if the look on their faces as they guide us towards the next bomb location is any indicator. Vexx is probably just as shocked, but when I turn to check up on him, I catch him sneaking away through a side door with a determined look on his face. I really, really shouldn't do it. I sigh, slowing my steps enough so Ayame and Bash wouldn't hear me sneak away as well, and I follow Vexx through the same door he went. That is a bad idea. The whole thing with June is still haunting me, but I push those thoughts away. I can't hear the sound of metal being wrecked in the distance, and I can only hope he'll catch up to the others soon. But right now I have a runaway to worry about. Why didn't we alert Bash and Ayame about Vexx like trailing off? I'm not sure. But trailing him through the facility, I take care to stay far enough behind him that he won't notice my presence. He keeps up the pace as swift as the sniper he is. Does he even know where he's going? This might have something to do with the business he mentioned he had here, or it could be more sinister than all that. When I turned the next corner, I lost sight of him. Oh. I keep going in one direction, hoping I'll find a clue in one of the deserted corridors, but all of them look exactly the same. One Direction, Harry Styles. I'm getting a lot of like music references here, like really old music references. I don't know if it's like intentional or or not. My brain is just corrupted, I guess. I'm just about to give up completely and try to find my way back to the others when I stumble around the next corner and I see it. A door, an enormous cylindrical door, and it's standing half open. I creep toward it cautiously, my senses on high alert. There are no sounds, nothing but an eerie silence. The air grows thicker the closer I get to that foreboding door. Slipping through the entrance, I find a set of grated metal stairs leading down as far as I can see. I step down into the darkness, my heart beating beneath my chest like the wings of a tiny hummingbird. I don't see Vexx, and I don't hear anything besides the rush of my blood in my ears. Why did I follow him? The last time I did, it didn't end well, and I still find myself here. If this is a trap, I can't say I don't deserve it. Whoa! Look at this. This is like a very beautiful drawing. When I emerge from the stairs, letting my eyes adjust to the lack of sight, I hit a ramp that goes down further still. The cavernous cylindrical room engulfs me on all sides, dark, sterile, and utterly hopeless in its appearance. Rows upon rows of heavy steel doors leave no doubt as to what this place is. A prison. I tiptoe towards the closest cell, using the fluorescent light above the door to peer into the darkness. Empty. Creeping to the next one, I find the same thing again and again. These cells are all empty. Which means that the prisoners, as we expected, will be in the mines. I can only pray that each and every one of them was evacuated during the alarm. Somebody's yelping, screaming out. A growl and then a thump echoes through the space and rumbles off the metal walls. My heart picks up even more speed as I follow the sounds, my hands tightening around my blaster. It's only when I've cleared the catwalk and see the flash of a computer monitor that my pulse starts to slow. Vexx? I squint through the dim light, finding him tapping away at a panel on the wall frantically. Where are they? Where are they? Vexx, what's going on? The scent of rust and stale air hangs in my nose. Compared to the rest of the facility, the prison is dark, dingy, and unkempt. My heart goes out to the poor souls who have been forced to live here. Well, it's a prison, so maybe they're criminals who deserve to be here. I'm not sure, but if it's a prison, it makes a little bit more sense. God damn it. Vexx growls through the darkness, frantically sweeping through screen after screen. I've never seen him so distraught. And then he stops, his fingers poised over a monitor. No. With a deafening crack, he puts his fist through the screen, the monitor flickering for a few seconds before going black. He keeps his hand embedded in the glass as his head falls against the wall, his shoulders moving up and down when he takes a big, shuddering breath. And then he pulls his fist back again before launching it at the already broken screen again and again until the glass is nothing but splinters in his hand, drips blood all over the grates beneath us. Stop! I launch myself forward right as he buries his face in his hands and screams, the sound echoing sharply through the cavernous space. He drops to his knees, head bowed and fists clenched tight. I put a hand on his shoulder and try one last time to get through to him. What's happened? He chokes on a breath before he answers, his voice filled with emotion. Oh, and look at his face, he's crying. I wonder if he's looking for Nerissa. Oh, his parents. Okay, it's my parents, he says. They're dead. Woof. He manages to get the words out through his gasps of pain. Zovak lied to me. All this time. Comfort him or leave him. We can comfort him this time. I think so. I drop down to his level, my fingers moving over his back to comfort him. Now I understand why he had wanted to come here. His parents must have been in this prison and he was hoping to find them. My heart clenches uncomfortably. I know what it's like to lose your family, and it seems that now Vexx does too. A few long moments pass before he calms his breathing long enough to look at me. I'm so sorry, Kiki. There is one thing I haven't told you. An ominous chill runs down my spine and I find myself backing up out of instinct. I get the feeling that I'm not going to like whatever he says next. What is it? He clenches his teeth, fighting against himself. It was me. What are you talking about? My chest clenches, every muscle in my body tensing up. Whatever Vexx is trying to tell me is causing him so much pain he can barely speak. Did he kill his own parents? While under the influence of, I forgot his name, Zovak. Okay. He takes in a few trembling breaths before he faces me, tears streaming down his face. I remember. I left the palace so I could stop him, Zovak. I couldn't let him hurt you or Kai L3 or... He growls and chokes on a sob, his eyes squeezing out tears when they shut tight against whatever he's feeling. I told him my mission was a failure, that there was no easy way into the palace or past its extensive security. I was stupid, an absolute fool. He knew I was lying from the second I opened my mouth, but I was desperate. So that's where you went when you left. You weren't returning to Zovak, you were trying to stop him from attacking us? But I didn't understand that the attack happened anyway. Rayona mentioned you had been put through some kind of procedure. Vexx nods, his usual bright eyes going dark. The doctor. That's the only name I've ever heard them call him. He's a madman from Cursa, experiments with stuff that's best left alone. There was nothing I could do once Zovak gave the order. He knew I was hiding something and I was never going to talk. He grits his teeth tight, the muscles in his jaw feathering with his emotions. The procedure they performed on me was a wiping of the temporal lobe. He forced me to have everything taken away. What I felt for you was gone, and I told him everything. Oh my. Okay, okay, that was that kind of gave me the chills, and yeah. He takes in another breath, composing himself well enough to explain. I told him about Nerissa, what she was planning, how I was working with her against Zovak to strip King Fenris from his throne. Oh yeah, he was working with our sister like I thought. Damn, this is such a sad story. She would have done it too. She had allies. She had T, who was Ti something. A flash of something savage, something strange washes over him, and I know he's struggling against himself. I step closer and speak quietly, urging him on. What happened to my sister's plans? Zovak was forced to strike first. As soon as he learned what Nerissa was planning, he rallied everything he had to take them, all of you, out. He bows his head towards the grate, overcome with grief. I told her she had my loyalty, and I meant it. I asked her to trust me, and when she did, I betrayed her. But she didn't do it willingly. Zovak forced you into telling him what she was doing. Before that, you really were on our side. He nods, but something still pains him. As I got closer to you and became friends with Nerissa, I knew there was a better way to bring stability to the system. Whew. That's why you were working with Zovek in the first place, for his vision of the system? Not entirely. I did it for my parents. When I was 14, they were brought here to the prison. They ran a small tech repair shop in the Silver District, and when their taxes became too much to keep up with, they were sentenced to a life working with the Orionite mines. I was recruited to the Chimeri under the pretense that we would save them, all of them. King Fenris sent good people, innocent people, to suffer in those mines for the smallest of infractions. Yeah, so I was wrong when I said earlier they were in the prison, but they did not deserve that. Something had to be done to stop him, and the Chimeri had a plan to do it. But Nerissa, I knew that she was better for the people, that she would be a fair ruler. So I switched sides, knowing that once she was queen, she would help me find my parents, and that she would give the people of Celiota the life they deserved. Your father was never going to be harmed. Nerissa would have had him abdicate the throne by amassing a force against him. But she needed more time to set the pieces in place. Zovek was close to striking, so I left to buy her that time. She had no idea what I was doing. My mind swirls with confusion, roars and roils against everything I thought I knew. How did I not see what Nerissa was planning? But Nerissa hated our father. Why would she bother with abdication when she could have just killed him? She may have hated him in theory, but she cared about him too much to see him harmed. And besides, what kind of standard would that have set for her reign? I can't explain why, but I almost feel betrayed by my own sister. Why had she kept this from me? Why didn't she let me help? The one thing I know for sure was that Vexx had been trying to help us both. I think I understand now what happened and why you left. Vexx, you can't blame yourself for that, not when Zovek did something so vile and intrusive to force you to talk. His face shatters, 1,000 daggers of emotions striking him all at once. There's more. Oh damn, I wonder how much more is there? Like, this is already so freaking tragic, dude. My heart drops in my chest, my throat tightening, dreading that look in his eyes. What more could there be? Yeah, exactly, what more could there be? Vexx squeezes his eyes closed, as though ashamed of what he's about to say, his hands trembling at his sides. I fought against my own brain from the second they wiped it. I fought so hard it was tearing me apart from the inside. When I wasn't drowning in a mind that wasn't my own, all I could think of was getting back to you, of warning you. The night came when Zovek and the Chimeri would storm the palace, and I was given instructions of my own. Vexx breaks down again, and when he drops his head, tears stem from the tip of his nose. His hands shake so badly they rattle the grate beneath them. I tried to stop myself. I would have pulled a bullet in my own head before carrying out those orders, but the more I fought against it, the harder it was to stay lucid. The ballroom was chaos. I don't think Zovek had expected so many people to fight back, as deluded as he was about his own hero complex. I couldn't find you. You weren't at the wedding like I had expected. But... He chokes on a sob, his fingers running through his hair and gripping so hard I half expected strands to tear out completely. Nerissa was there, and before I knew what was happening, the sound of my own gun was ringing through my ears. The world falls down around me and my eyes go wide, firmly fixed on the broken man in front of me. No, you can't. I struggle with the words as my chest caves and my mouth goes dry. My mouth is also dry, like my throat is very dry, so that's why I'm having trouble reading. I don't want to hear anymore. I can't hear anymore, but he keeps going. She was in my arms, and the blood, there was so much blood. It was all over me, soaked through my skin. Stop. I killed her. I killed Nerissa. Ooh, damn. Pain rings through my ears, boils the blood in my veins. I lean against the railing to steady myself before I fall. This can't be true. It can't, it can't, it can't. Nerissa. I killed her, and the pain was overwhelming. I couldn't stand the guilt of knowing what I had done, so I gave in to the shadows of my mind. I let them consume me, and I knew nothing of my own self until I saw you, on Terranium. The rush of my own blood thunders in my ears, drowning out the world around me. My lungs tighten painfully in my chest as I struggle for breath. I can't. It was me, Kiki. It was me. I'm so sorry for what I have done. I'm sorry. Oh, and we have a very difficult choice here. We have 3 different options. We can either forgive him, saying it wasn't your fault. We can tell him that we need some time to work through this. or really incriminate him and just say you're right, it was your fault, which eliminates the option for Vex's route. At this point, I don't want to eliminate like any options. Every choice that I have made so far in the game did not eliminate any options, even though just for the fun of it, I was thinking of going the Ayame route, and I'm still thinking about that, just because she's so lighthearted and so fun to be around, and she can be like very stern and very like I don't know how to explain it. I really like her as a character, but Vexx is also a very interesting character, and I gotta say there is a no boring character in this game really. There's characters that I like less than others. For example, Damon is not like really my taste of character, you know, like my flavor or whatever, my type. But I don't want to like eliminate any of them. So I'm gonna forgive him because you cannot like blame someone for doing what he did just because it really was not his fault. So I am gonna forgive Vexx, and we're clicking it. I take the few deep breaths, trying to compose myself enough to think straight. Nerissa is gone. I already knew that, and knowing that Vexx was the one to do it is enough to shatter me all over again. But when I look at him, seeing him so broken, so overcome with grief and regret exactly, I know that I'm not the only one who's struggling. It hurts so much, but I forgive you. Nerissa would have wanted me to. He looks at me stunned. His voice shakes when he speaks. You should hate me. I can't forgive myself. You have to, and I'll help you with that. He breaks down again, and I kneel beside him, pulling him into my arms and feeling the weight of his destruction rumble through me. Nothing matters now. My parents are dead. Nerissa is dead. What else do I have? Well, Vexx, let me just tell you one thing. You have me, and like we can work through this trauma together, you know, even just as friends, you know. Before I can answer, shouts echo from above and my head snaps towards the sight of Khmeri soldiers swarming the prison. Yeah, oh, we are Khmeri soldiers saying they're down here. I grab Vexx by the arm, attempting to pull him to his feet. Vexx, get up, we have to go. He lets me help him up and I scan the prison wildly, looking for an exit. This way. The way I had come from is clear of soldiers, and I decided it would be best to have at least some semblance of where we were going. My feet pound over the grated floor as I head for the stairs, Vexx hot on my heels. We travel up and up in the same way I had come down before. When we reach the corridor near the labs, I skid to a stop, looking for any sign of the others. Ooh, a quick glance of the area tells me that it's empty, terrifyingly empty, and I shudder when I think of what June might have done in there. Come on, let's keep going. I motion for Vexx to follow, and we continue to the facility in what I hope is the right direction to reach the main lobby, and I wonder, will we manage to do it? Will we manage to get out of this before all of it explodes, before we get caught by the Khmeri soldiers? Is June gonna be alright? Like, there's so many variables, so many questions that I have, but I'm gonna have to end it here. Thank you so much for watching, and this was really the wildest and like the saddest episode of Andromeda 6 that we have had so far. Honestly, it made me tear up a little, that one point with Vexx, you know, when he was just explaining what happened, and it was like really tragic, first with June and then with Vexx, and that really kind of got me down, damn. But it's okay. I'm really like terrifyingly impressed by this whole story, this whole plot. It's so interesting and it's so well made, so well thought out, that I really am thankful for the developers for making this game, because it's such a joy to play. But definitely we'll continue this in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.